every single poi trick you ever learn will involve some challenges, but some of those challenges are pretty deceptively hidden by the appearance of the trick. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain, and today I'm counting down 5 deceptively difficult poi tricks that happen to be personal favorites. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecha, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spin Balls, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friend of the channel, Pekka Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. So straight up, anytime you learn a poi trick, you're going to have to go through a process of figuring out how to make all the little kinesthetic elements of it work with your own body. Those challenges are absolutely real, no matter what trick you happen to be working on. But I do think that we sometimes judge a book by its cover and see a poi trick that either looks like it's going to be simple or looks similar to something that we already know, and assume then that the learning curve is going to be a quite gentle one. And so with that in mind, I have assembled a list of 5 of the poi tricks that I think are the most deceptively difficult. And some of these really annoy me because they're tricks that we throw at beginners all the time. Caveats, of course, everybody has their own flow journey, and some people are going to find that the tricks that I'm including on this list are easier than others, but overall, aggregated together with all the experiences of students I've had over the years, these are the ones that whenever we got into it, I knew I had a challenge ahead of me. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Trick number 1, tuck turns. So tuck turns are a really interesting case because they're basically just a step up from a poi trick that I think is deceptively easy, which is just performing extensions with your hands in together time same direction. But it's that little loop that they add behind your shoulders and waist that can be a little tricky. See, I like training the top part of tuck turns because gravity helps you out. You can simply just drop the poi back behind your back and things turn out swimmingly. But it's that pedal on bottom where the poi are fighting against gravity that the challenge really kicks in. And honestly, this kind of annoys me because tuck turns are an integral step into learning body tracers, and I've had a lot of students go through the process of learning how to do them, and I just have never found a technique that I really like for teaching the bottom part of this move. If you've got a good technique for teaching the bottom part of this, please let me know down in the comments because I could really use the help. That said, we are now going to depart the land of beginner tricks and start to get into stuff that I think everybody can agree is actually quite difficult. Trick number 2, isolations. Isolations. One of the few poi tricks where it is very, very, very easy to understand the concept and incredibly difficult to actually physically perform it. After all, the idea behind an isolation is simply that you're going to spin the poi around the center of the tether. Your hand and the poi head are both going around the same circle, just at opposite ends. Oh, but goodness, getting down the technique to actually do this and make it look good, it takes forever. Back in the day, I remember when poi juggling phenom Keith Marshall visited me here in DC, and we had a day discussing if there were any poi tricks that were as difficult to learn as juggling tricks. And the isolation was the one and only one that we could come up with. Basically, there's no way around the fact that this move just requires an incredible amount of woodshedding. You need to put in the hours to get down the technique and try to perfect it. And even then, there's going to be moments when it drifts in and out of alignment. You've just got to do your best with it. So we have isolations, which I think everybody can agree just take a lot of work to get down. So what could be harder than isolations? Well, tricks that require isolations. Trick number 3, isolation versus horizontal cat-eye. Yeah, I know, putting this and isolations on the same list is kind of double dipping in some ways, but I do have one very specific reason why I wanted to put this trick on this list. So here's the thing. A lot of the tech poi tricks that we played with back in the day wound up becoming stuff that is more or less standard in the poi spinning world today. And I always expected this trick to wind up on that list. And even after a decade and a half, it has stubbornly refused to become a standard one. And it's not hard to understand why. In addition to being able to do isolations with it, one also has to learn how to do horizontal cat eyes. Cateyes in and of themselves can be a challenge, but putting them on a horizontal axis is something that will boggle even the most advanced poi minds. It seems weird, right? Because both of the poi are just doing a single beat move, and yet when you put these pieces together, it becomes an incredibly difficult to solve puzzle. Many have tried. Few have succeeded. Alright, so I do have to say, there is going to be a massive step up in difficulty. Trick number 4, the one-handed Mercedes. I know. Who actually thinks that this is an easy poi trick? Thing is, I remember back in the day when we were working this one out, and absolutely everybody who was trying already knew how to do the Mercedes with 2 hands, and we were absolutely stumped as to what was going wrong when we were trying to do it with just the one hand. As it turns out, all of those fine plane adjustments that are necessary to make the Mercedes work are really hard to do with just one hand. Not only are you having to do a timing change with the poi, but also you have to switch which poi is in front in between each point. It's quite a big puzzle. I remember back in the day seeing so many people who were really good at poi, really struggling with this move. Somehow, the pieces were just so difficult to put together that it would stump even incredibly skilled spinners. It may not look like an easy trick to those of you who are at the beginning of your flow journey, but trust me, for those of us who'd been at it for a while when meteor-style poi became a big thing, it looked like it should be something that wouldn't be that difficult for us to learn. Goodness, were we ever wrong. Alright, so before I share with you my final pick for 5 deceptively difficult poi tricks, I do have a favor to ask. See, if you've come this far, I'm pretty sure that you're into poi tricks and poi spinning in general, and if that's the case, then you're in luck because I make lots of videos about poi and poi spinning. If you'd like to get all of my latest videos as soon as they come out, please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so that you are one of the first to know. Now, with all that said, my #1 pick for deceptively difficult poi tricks is trick number 5, the 3-beat weave. Wait, so have I gone absolutely barking mad and stuck one of the most common poi tricks in the world at the top of this list of difficult poi tricks, above isolations, above the one-handed Mercedes? Yes, because I personally think that it's kind of a cruel joke that we play on beginners. The 3-beat weave requires several overlapping skills, all working perfectly in concert, whether it's the ability to keep the poi spinning split time same direction, do tic-tacs going back and forth across the body, or that most difficult step of all, figuring out how to get in the extra beat when your hand is crossed across your body. Like, I know this move is considered very elementary, and a big part of that is just that this is one of those few things that appears in absolutely every culture that has ever created a prop that is a weight on the end of a string, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's an intuitive thing to learn. This is part of the reason why I've shied away from teaching the 3-beat weave as one of the first few tricks that I give to beginners. I prefer to give people stuff that feels a little bit more intuitive and gets them to feel more comfortable with the tool straight up. Things like reels and extensions, before I drop them into the deep end with this very, very, very deceptively difficult monster. So that is why it is my final pick for poi tricks that are deceptively hard. Did you also find that these poi tricks were deceptively difficult? Are there some other tricks that you discovered along your flow journey that wound up being a bigger challenge than you were expecting? Please leave me a comment and let me know. The videos on this channel would not be possible without my amazing supporters on Patreon. In particular, I'd like to single out my Flow patrons who are listed on screen right here. If you like the work that I do, please consider signing up to support me over at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. There's a lot of stuff that I have to do to bring income in the door, and the more people support me on Patreon, the more time I'm able to invest in creating these videos for you and everybody in the world. So, go check that out, please and thank you. And hey, if you dug this video on 5 poi tricks that are deceptively difficult, maybe you'll enjoy this video on 5 poi tricks that are deceptively easy. Hey, the other end of the spectrum. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Take care now. Peace.